Hi everybody, Peter Zalum's Griniflix Adventure 8 and welcome to another video. Today it's all about the latest firmware update for the Leica M cameras. Everything, all the M10 varieties, the M10, the M10-P and so on, the monochrome, the M10-R, the APS I think it's, or something like that. As well as the M11, and yes, so there's some significant upgrades. Right, I'm always concerned about the upgrades. Will they work, and what sort of catastrophes can there be? I had an experience earlier this year when I had to upgrade the Q2 that I had, and for some reason during the upgrade process it did not go successfully, and that created all sorts of firmware problems and it couldn't be resolved. I mean, it had to go back to Leica here in Australia, and by the time they got all the firmware boards and to try and diagnose software and firmware incompatibilities or something, when something goes wrong, it goes back to Leica, and then they probably have to replace the actual boards, the motherboards, etc., that goes into the camera, and that can take a long time. It took 6 months by the time all the parts came through. Now that was partly due to COVID and the supply chain issues. Nevertheless, it got fixed up under warranty, and then everything is fine. So firmware upgrades are always a concern to me. The M10 upgrade first. There is a PDF that's available on the site, and I'll provide some links here for you in the video. And then on the upgrade, it goes through basically the process of upgrading. Now, the difference between the M11 and the M10 versions of the camera is the M10 you have to actually download the firmware onto your SD card. My recommendation probably is just to put your SD card back into your camera and format it in your camera, and then that way you've got a clear SD card. Take your SD card out, put it into your computer, download the firmware from the Leica site, which is .fw is the extension on the file, and you put that into the root directory. There's my SD card, you can see it there. So this is the root file here, and there's the download there, and just a matter of dragging that across and putting it into the root file. Remove the SD card from the computer and place it back into your camera. Turn on your camera, go to camera information. It's going to ask you, do you want to upgrade? And you press yes, and then it starts a process, and there'll be a number of screens that it goes through: uncompressing, processing, and once complete there'll be a little screen with some green writing saying the upgrade was successful. It turns the camera off automatically. Then you actually turn the camera off also at that stage and turn it back on, and if you check camera information you'll see that's the latest firmware update as well. The Leica M11 has a slightly different process that uses photos, much the same as the Q2, when there's a firmware update for that. Yes, so you can use photos, and I've got a number of Leica cameras, and therefore I've got a number of different ones that are compatible. The Leica Q2, the M11, the M10 monochrome, and the M10. The M11 upgrade basically is done through photos. I had an option to download the software, the upgrade. I downloaded the upgrade via the photos, and then it tells you to go to the camera, and it's showing you how it's downloading the file on the camera, and it goes through that entire process. With all these processes, you just don't want to turn off the camera. You want to make sure before you even start that you've got at least 80% battery power in your battery, and then follow the instructions that are on the camera. So I've upgraded everything. Everything has worked, which is fantastic. That's a complete relief. success. That's the main part of this video. Alright, anyway, short and sweet. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then give it a thumbs up. If it's the first time to my channel, and do come back, do subscribe, press notifications. You'll be notified when the next video is out. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers, bye.